Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines. Not this engine. It's got quite a ways to go before it's ready to go into this beast. But tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. over in Le Mans, France, they will be starting a whole bunch of engines because that'll be the start of the 24 hours of Le Mans, or is it Le Mans? I'm not sure what the correct pronunciation is. But anyway, exciting race coming up all weekend, but we're not going to talk about that right now. We're going to talk about this Pontiac 455 with DCI ram air 5 heads that I'm currently building for the car. In my last video, I showed you how to install the Milodon gear drive. If you missed that, go ahead and check it out. But in this series, I'm going to show you how to degree the cam. Basically, right now, the crank and the camshaft are out of phase. They're not in the proper relationship. So I'm going to show you how to do that today. A little bit of advanced work that I've already done. I've put the degree wheel on. I've rotated the crank so that cylinder number 1 is at top dead center, which is 0 degrees. You can see here on the degree wheel, we're at 0 degrees, top dead center. So the crank is where it needs to be. Our next step in the whole process is to get the camshaft in the 0 degree position or the straight up position in relationship to the crank. First step in that, what you want to do is grab your cam card. It would be a card that comes with your cam manufacturer. They're going to specify where your intake valve opens and the lift at which it opens. In my case, intake valve opens up at 20 degrees before top dead center. So what I'm going to do is I'm now going to rotate the crankshaft to 20 degrees before top dead center. That will then allow me to set the lift on the camshaft. So let me go ahead and rotate the crank around to 20 degrees before top dead center. So we'll just come on around here, and I think we're right there, a little more. Okay, so right now the piston is at 20 degrees before top dead center. That's when the intake valve is going to open up. Next step in this process, I'm going to pull this camshaft gear off. The unique thing about Milodon, there's a hub that bolts to the camshaft, but then the cam gear actually is separate. It's got 7 bolt holes. That allows you to, after we get this set, that allows you to rotate the camshaft around to 7 different positions. That controls whether you're going to advance or retard the timing on the camshaft. So I'm going to set him aside. Our next step, like I say, we've got the crank is at 20 degrees before top dead center. Now I want to get the camshaft in sync with that. So all I'm going to do is just rotate the camshaft, and I'm going to come around to the base of the camshaft. We're looking at this guy here. So let me come on around to the base where there's no movement, and you can see from our dial indicator up here. So I'm just rotating him around. There's no movement, so let me zero out the dial indicator. We'll set him on 0. Get him. All right, so he is at 0. Now, like I say, our cam card specifies 20 degrees before top dead center at 50 thousandths lift. So what I'm going to do is rotate the camshaft around until we get 50 thousandths reading on our dial indicator here. So we'll just rotate him around. You can see he just starts to come up the ramp there. And let me take a peek. So he'll start coming up. Right. And he'll come up pretty quick. So we'll bring him up to 50 thousandths. And right there. So he's at 50 thousandths. The crank is at 20 degrees before top dead center. So right now, this gear will only go on in one position. You rotate them around and those bolt holes will only line up in one position. That's the kind of cool, unique thing about this system. So I'm going to break here. I'm going to pull the degree wheel off just so you can see all this go together a little easier. And we'll pop this cam gear on and we'll go from there. So hang on one second while I get that pulled off. All right, guys, we're back. Pulled the degree wheel off, and we're ready to throw this cam gear on here. Like I said, just to reiterate, the crank is at 20 degrees before top dead center. The cam is 50 thousandths lift. That's in the straight up position. So 0 degrees basically, not advanced or retarded. So the nice thing about this, with the crank in that position and the camshaft in that position, this gear will only go on the camshaft in one position. These 7 holes, they will only line up in one magical place. So right now it's just kind of trial and error. Let's throw him on there, and I'll kind of show you what we are talking about. You just start off in a random position, and you can kind of see those bolt holes. They are not lined up. So it's usually just kind of trial and error till you find that sweet spot where they all line up. I'll jump around to a couple other spots. That still isn't it. And we'll come around to, that's not going to be it. Let's go one more tooth. And that still isn't it. We're getting closer though. Actually, I think that's, yeah, looks like all 7 line up. So that is our magical position, 0 degrees straight up. So if that's where you wanted to keep your timing, we'd bolt that down. In this case, my cam manufacturer said to do 2 degrees installation. So what you would want to do is mark this position. Just put a mark on the gear with probably like a permanent white marker, and then number each bolt hole 1 through 7 going around clockwise. Okay, because then Milodon sends along a list of each of those 7 positions and how that relates to advancing or retarding. So they'll say, move it to position number 3. If you want, and I don't remember what it was, but say you want 4 degrees advanced, you would rotate it clockwise around it. And really you're leaving the gear in the same place, but rotating the camshaft around. Clockwise will advance it, counterclockwise will retard it. So I'm not going to lock this down yet because I'll put the bolts in there and everything, but the next thing, and I'm not going to do this in this series right here, but in my next video series, I want to check piston to valve clearance. Okay, very, very important. There's no better time to do it. I'll be pulling the cylinder head off, throw some clay, a little 1/4 inch piece of clay on top of the piston, and then buttoning the head back up, rotate the engine a couple of times, and then pull the head back off, and we'll check the squish, how much that clay gets packed down. So I'll do that at the 0 degree setting first, but it'd be real smart to do that at all your possible positions that you'll want to rotate that to. So 2 degrees advanced, I'll go through the same process. This fly is driving me nuts. So I'll go through that whole process at each 2 degrees advanced, 4 degrees advanced, 2 degrees retarded, 4 degrees retarded, etc., and check piston to valve clearance. There's no better time to do that than while the engine's out of the car, it's not running. Bad things happen if you don't check that. That's all I got. If you got any questions, shoot me an email. Give me some likes on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. I'm out there on all social media platforms. Yeah, and if you want to see something specific, fire me off an email or something. So that's all I've got for now. Race fans, tune in tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. The Le Mans is going to be kicking it off. I will be rooting for Team Corvette. There's only one team that's running Corvettes over there. 2 cars, car number 63 and 64. Root for them. They will be battling with Porsche, Ferrari 488s, and Aston Martin. So go Team Corvette. So that's all I got for now, guys. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.